This is Mike Garrick with Mind Nutrition Body, and we're going to go through the top 5 fat loss tools. Now, they're tools because if you don't pick them up and use them, they're not going to work. I've got 5 of them. It's taken me the last decade, 10 years to develop these. They're all really simple, not necessarily easy, but easy to do if you just don't neglect them. You can use them all separate, or you can use them all together to really synergize and get shredded up. So let's get started. First off, you guys, don't wait. I mean, that's the number one thing that people do is they wait. Get started now. Start small. I want you guys to go from interested to committed. When you're interested, you kind of dabble in it a little bit. When you're committed, that's another word for all in. So get all in. Doesn't matter how big it is, but just get all in and get committed and then go to the next step from there. And make sure that you guys celebrate every single victory, whether it's turning down a bag of Cheetos or something like that, or you reach your 1 pound goal, or if it's 30 pounds, whatever it is, you got to celebrate every single victory. Very important. All right, so you know what? It's not very hard necessarily to get from where this guy is on the left to this guy on the right. But ultimately, the part that's missing here, their heads, their minds, that's where it all takes place. So you got to get committed and go after it. When you start taking action, then the momentum starts to build and you want to keep going. So let's go through number 1, eat whole foods. All right, whole foods are just live foods. They're just the least processed foods. Fresh fruits and vegetables, nuts, seeds, and grains, legumes, lean proteins and waters. That's like the foundation right there. Obviously, there's eggs and dairy and breads and things like that. But those are just, those are a little bit more processed. You want to stick with these as much as possible and start systematically eliminating or reducing anything that comes in a can, a box, or a bag, anything that's been processed. And start at your level. I mean, you're going to start out at white bread probably and work up to whole grain bread or eliminate bread altogether. But whatever it is, just set what your goal is. Find things that you like. This is so important because you know what? Some people, no matter how hard they try, are not going to like broccoli. So there's plenty of things out there that you can find that you like and stick with those. That way, it's sustainable. Whole foods reduce insulin spikes. So that's one of the biggest things for fat gain is processed sugars that kick your insulin up and make you store fat. So protein, fats, and fiber are 3 of the biggest things that actually lower the insulin spikes. So whole foods do that. Essential macro and micronutrients. The macronutrients are just your proteins, your carbohydrates, and your fats. They have all of them. The micros are like they're the minerals, the vitamins, the antioxidants, things like that. So just for a quick example, vegetables are the best source of minerals and the second best source of vitamins. And fruits are your best source of vitamins and second best source of minerals. So, I mean, whole foods are where it's at. This is why this is the number 1 rule. And last here, they're a direct transfer of energy. The best example I give you of this is if you take a loaf of bread and put it in the ground, it's going to rot. Okay, it's not going to grow. But if you put some sprouts in the ground, they're going to grow. That's life right there. Life comes from life. So try to eat your foods in the most whole forms possible. Number 2, know your calories. This is considered to be the king of all rules. A lot of people avoid it. But if you look at one of the biggest, most successful diet plans out there, Weight Watchers, it's just another form of counting calories. It's just another form of calories. So it's really simple. Go to freedieting.com or any other website that you want and calculate your calories. It's really, really fast. It only takes 30 seconds or so. I'm going to show you guys a slide on the next clip here. 1 pound of fat equals 3,500 calories. So if you're in the deficit of 500 calories a day times 7 days, that's negative 3,500 calories. That's 1 pound. That's a good place to be at. 1 to 2 pounds is perfect. Anything above that, you're starving yourself. You're not going to be able to maintain it, and it's going to be extremely miserable. Okay, so you want to. I know this sounds weird, but you want to enjoy this process. You don't want this to be miserable, or you're way more likely not to stick to it. So here's an example. You go to freedieting.com or Livestrong, or there's a ton of them out there. Just find one. I just like this one. So you can see I've got my age up there, my gender, my weight, your height, your exercise level, okay? Make sure you put down what you really do, what you average out. Don't, if you've exercised every day, one time, but that's not what you really do, don't put that down, because that'll give you higher calories, and you don't want to do that. You want to make sure that you're right on. So there's also a thing that says advanced options there, and you can click. You don't have to click that. I like to click it and go down to the Harris-Benedict formula. That's the most accurate formula, but you don't have to. Punch the calculate button, and there you go. You got three numbers there. The maintenance, that's the calories it takes to stay the same. All right, so theoretically, if you just if I stayed at 2,867 calories, I wouldn't gain or lose, all right? The fat loss, that's approximately 500 calories in the deficit, and extreme fat loss is approximately 1,000 calories in the deficit. Once again, you don't want to go any lower than that, and even that's pretty hardcore. So it gives you those for you, and you're ready to go. So then you got to kind of track them, figure out a way to track them, whether you have like a little book, or nowadays everything's on the smartphone. It's really simple. So let's move to number 3. Time your carbohydrates, all right? Time your carbohydrates around the most active parts of your day. What does this mean? When your body's the most active. When you first wake up in the morning, your body, you've been fasting all night, that's really important time to take in most of your carbohydrates and calories. Pre and post workout. If you work out in the gym or you do extraneous sports activities, this is the most important time to have most of it. Or you can split it up between all 3 of these. Lunch. After lunch, you should really be toning down your calorie intake, and especially your carbohydrates. So taper off your carbohydrates and calories towards the evening. What this does is this is going to give you energy right around those times when you really need it, and then the rest of the day, if you keep your protein up, okay, what it's going to do is it's going to go after, your body's going to go after the only other energy source it has, which is your fat. It's going to dig deep, which is what you want it to do. So number 4, lean and green. Lean and green means lean proteins and green. So I say lean proteins because you're going to get fat inadvertently in all these proteins. So you want to just make sure they're lean. And lean meaning at least single digit, but preferably low single digit or fat-free. But you know what? You need some good fats in there, and even saturated fat in small doses is good. So just look for good, whole. I mean, this picture shows you a bunch of really good ones. And greens. Greens are essentially free foods, meaning that it takes more calories to digest them than you actually get out of them. So you can eat as many greens as you feel. And it's really important to eat your proteins with greens because of the fiber and the digestive health. So that's just an added benefit, along with all the minerals and vitamins that you get in your greens. They're extremely healthy for you. So when in doubt, you guys, if you're out and about, this is a really good one to remember. When you're out and about and you forget you're out at at somebody's place at a barbecue, or you're out on a date and you're or with your wife and you're eating out, when in doubt, eat lean and green. That's awesome rule to go by. All right, number 5. This one's a hard one, but it's extremely effective, okay? Stop eating 3 to 4 hours before bed, because our metabolism is slowing down at night, all right? Your body is going to burn the fat while you sleep if you do this, because what happens is you don't have any carbohydrates, so your body goes after what it has left. So if you've been keeping your protein up there, eating lean and green or just proteins with your other parts of your meals, then your body's going to go after your own fat. And the cool part about this is that you're going to be asleep while you're hungry, so you're not going to have to worry about it. So you can burn a ton of fat while you're sleeping. This is so critical. You'll wake up skinnier in the morning. You'll feel it. This one, try it out. Try it out a couple of days out of the week and just see it. Just don't try to trust me. Just try it out, okay? Now, obviously, these are tough. You're going to have to break some habits. So if you end up eating default number 4, lean and green, okay? Or at least just go back to whole foods. It's not a big deal to eat your fruits and things like that at night. The biggest thing to stay away from is your processed, high glycemic index carbs. Basically all the delicious chocolates and cookies and crackers and things like that we all, want that late at night. and especially when they are mixed with fats. That is called a fat pill, is what that's called. Because what happens, your body takes that sugar from the processed carbohydrates and stores all that fat. It's instantly. It's really bad stuff. So go back to eat lean and green or eat whole foods. All right, guys, here's a conclusion. Number 1, eat whole foods. 2, know your calories and go into a 500 to 1,000 calorie deficit at max. Time your carbohydrates around the most active parts of your day. Eat lean and green. Okay, stop eating 2 to 3 hours before bed. You guys, if you take these, you will look like that guy on the right. Okay, that guy with the 6-pack. All right, it'll take some time, but these are some powerful, powerful tips here. These are tools that I've used over the decade with my clients, and they continue to work. So use them and start now, you guys. So go to mindnutritionbody.com. That's my website. I have a bunch of different tools you guys can use. I got my clean food list. So if you don't know what a carbohydrate is, if you don't know what a protein is, I got a really good list that I've been developing over the last couple of years. So check that out. Cut or bulk flow chart, depending on if you want to cut down or you want to bulk up. It kind of shows you the difference and what to do with your workouts and your diet. Lean and clean meal examples. That's pretty self-explanatory. And must-have foods at home. These are the things, like, basically it's what I always have in my house at all times so that I'm never unprepared. And then I've got a quick water guide because water is so important, and sometimes it's, a lot of people have questions as far as how to hydrate yourself and how much water you drink. So there you go, guys. Go check it out. And this is Mike Garrick with Mind Nutrition Body, helping you think, eat, and move with a purpose.